Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of the Levicity Show. Here, another episode. Of course, yes, Daryl is missing. Still haven't found him. If you find him, please let us know. You can hit us up on Instagram. But we have two special guests here. You guys were actually on a podcast before, but I don't think I released video for that one. But I got the legendary Zammit right here. I don't know if last name or first name.
Zammit. It's the only name.
We got the Viking Zammit right here, and then the legendary Mo.
We can't both be legendary though.
I mean, why not?
You
guys,
have to pick.
You guys held down the fort.
Steven.
So that's Steven. And as you guys can see, rocking the chains, you know what I mean?
with my Mickey Mouse shirt.
But how you guys been? For those of you who don't know, they deployed with me, held down the fort, took a wholesome E6 at the time with no maintenance experience, and kept them up to speed. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it was a good time.
How you guys been?
I've been pretty good. Just reassimilating back to being a dad of three and not being told what to do by the military, but being told what to do by my wife on a daily basis.
Never free.
Never free.
And what about you?
Yeah, it's great to be home, but I'm way too intense for regular life. Way too intense for regular life.
I could see that.
Like I've been doing a lot of chilling. Vacations are over. Now I'm being home, but straightening up the house. You would think it's life or death out there. Yeah, it's too much. I'm way too intense for regular life. I gotta calm down. That's the only thing I haven't balanced yet. But it feels great to be home.
Yeah, you was on 100 out there.
Yeah, I'm 96 now.
Yeah, that's good. That's progress.
It's better than what I was, for sure.
It'll be good in a year.
Yeah, I hope not, yo.
Yeah, I remember our conversations. I'd be like, yo, we could relax now. Nah, there's always something to do. We could do this. We could do that. Let's make it better.
Nah, you gotta have that balance of work is work, and you need some time to recuperate from that intensity. Otherwise, you burn yourself out.
I mean, I'm chilling. I got nothing to do.
No, I'm saying overseas. Now we're chilling, yeah. But I'm saying in strictly overseas, you can't just be on 100 all the time because you're selling your soul at that point.
Oh, yeah.
We all sold our soul.
And we did.
It's funny being in this environment because the last time you weren't there, but the last time we sat down and did the Levicity was in the most terrible of conditions.
Yeah. we did have a few cigars.
We did have cigars.
No alcohol.
I mean, we also had birds chirping.
Yeah, birds shitting on us.
It was, yeah. We tried.
It's hot as hell.
Yeah, that's true.
Good times, though.
Never again, no. But good times.
Never again is a fact.
How was it doing it out there? How was it doing it out there?
Oh, it was horrible.
It fucking sucked.
The sound was awful because there were birds there and everything. And it was in a motor pool. We just went into the motor pool. We had a table there. We put the mics up. But it's the Rode mics that picks up everything. So,
and it's a big hollow building, metal table.
Yeah, it was.
The air conditioning was non-existent.
So everything, yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. But yeah, that's why I think we only released 2 episodes. I didn't release the second part to that one because
we went off topic a bit. We started.
Yeah, and then
oh no,
Rod,
what do you mean the racial one?
No, the one where we're starting to call out a certain individual.
Yeah,
just cause.
Oh yeah.
So
no, we can't do that.
I kept that one in the hard drive. But how have you been?
I'm great. I'm a little bit tired, but just staying busy, working.
Okay.
Trying to be productive. Got a deadline to hit in a week. I'm a little bit behind.
Shit. This man finally ETS'd.
That's it. It's over.
He's the smartest guy in the room right now.
Thank you for your service.
It's not too late to join me.
Nah, I think actually he is because he never joined.
I'm on my way. I'm right. This is my last hurrah.
I got
riding it out.
That's what they all say.
a few more years. They'll probably get me again. I'm stupid. I was saying to somebody today that you can't wait to get out, but then the thought of getting out brings anxiety because the camaraderie, it's second to none, man. There's nothing like when we were together the other day, the whole group. I missed that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was nice seeing everybody.
And you don't get that like at a regular job. I can't be like that with regular people. It feels weird, you know?
It's a toxic relationship.
It's still all hang out though. See, that I never understood is that like it's one of the only places where people leave at such a young age and then like no one ever talks to them again like they died. You know what I'm saying?
If they did die, they would talk
Like
about
you
it
didn't
more.
have people in your unit that you haven't seen or spoken to, but they were your people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Like I'm right here. I live 10 minutes away.
Yo, that's what you said the other day when I gave you a hug when I was leaving. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah, because that man hugged me like
I'm never going to see him again.
Like it was over.
We've been together for like 5 years.
Yeah,
but it's weird.
I live 40 minutes away.
I know.
It's like 12 miles, which the fact that it takes 40 minutes is disgusting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's that New York traffic.
But you live upstate, right?
I live in Yonkers, which I guess
It's upstate.
That's
Uh,
Canada.
I mean, I guess it's upstate.
If you're not 10
Yankee
minutes from my house, you're in a different
Yo,
country.
I had to drive through Dykeman to come down here.
Oh,
Bro, that's like another planet. I haven't been there forever. No one's got license plates just driving down the street, right?
you know, I've never been to Dykeman.
I have
Like I've
never
driven
been
through
to
it, but I've never
Dykeman
partied or anything.
Oh, it's lit. It's
I
like
heard
going
it's
to
lit.
DR. You ever been to DR? You've been to Dykeman.
I've never been. I've always heard about it.
Ain't
So
no
when
palm trees.
when you said it might as well be another planet. For me, it is because I've always heard about it, but I've never been.
Where
Never
are you
drove-
from? Where are you from?
I live in Brooklyn, born in Queens,
Okay.
but I've never had a reason to go over there, and I haven't. I've just always heard about it.
It's crazy. There's a couple good restaurants. I get my windows tinted at some spot over there, and then while they're doing that, I'll go out to eat and stuff like that. But just going through is bananas.
I feel like I got to go out there one day. See what
It's
it's
Let's
like.
go to Dykeman. Right after this, let's go to Dykeman.
There she go.
If it's not for military, I don't leave Brooklyn. It's like, and I have kids, you know, so they're young. So
Take them to Dykeman.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Fine. There's kids in Dykeman. Yeah, I like this.
Yo,
There's children.
when me and my sister were little kids, my grandmother came from Malta, and she tells my dad, she's like, yeah, I took him to the park. They had such a good time. My dad's like, what park is over here? She's like, you know where the buildings are. He's like, you took him to the projects. Yeah, they had a great time.
Still a park.
You're right. And we had a good time.
Yo.
My grandmother never took us out
Oh,
again.
I'm gonna throw some shade right now. So I go to Italy, right? I'm in Sicily. Malta is at maybe an hour and a half boat ride from Sicily. The Sicilians hate the Maltese, and the Maltese hate the Sicilians.
I married a Sicilian.
So the Sicilians think that the Maltese, like, you know, got their noses up in the air. They're so rich, like they're so much better than everybody else. And the Maltese look at Sicilians like second-class citizens. They hate each other. It's the funniest thing you ever seen because they look exactly the same. They sound exactly the same. Their language is the same. They're both from little like shit-ass islands. Mad funny.
I feel like it's always like that. That's like how Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, they got beef. Dominicans and Haitians, they got beef.
And Mexicans got beef with everybody.
Yo.
No, even the Mexicans from Mexico City hate
Everybody
Mexicans
else.
outside of Mexico City. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not white folk. We stick together though.
That's why we're on the opposite ends of the table. We
That's
got to
right.
make sure we're good. See the exit.
Yeah. You know, I had to stop those jokes that I would say.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because,
You mean the suit that you used to wear?
yeah, like,
We can't
it was
say
cool with him, but
Yeah.
you could tell that, like, so I used to crack these these jokes with our fearless officer, but you could tell that he felt uncomfortable with some of them too. But
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's how it goes.
yeah. But I realized that like I tried doing it when I got back home. Different effect. I was like,
Yeah, no.
let me not say that.
It was nice to see him though.
It was.
Yeah, he's over it.
I like him.
I do like him too.
Yeah. He grew on me.
That's another beautiful thing about the military, though. Shared suffering melts away all these like stupid constraints.
Yeah.
And you could always tell, like there were some jokes where if somebody really felt that way, you could tell that it wasn't a joke to them.
Yeah.
True.
Still a toxic relationship.
Trauma bonds.
Yeah. That's, I'm pretty sure that's unhealthy.
That's 100% of them.
Jesus Christ. I do got a question for y'all though. If you guys don't mind getting a little personal, has there been anything difficult about your transitioning to being back home?
You want to go first? I got something I could.
I mean, go ahead. Oh.
The cost of living. just hear me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you're overseas. You're sending money to your significant other. You know, you're taking care of business at home, but you're not at home. So like, and you got that steady paycheck coming in, and it's a healthy paycheck. So like, you're like, money, whatever. I got it. The minute I came home, all the plans that I had while I was overseas to do things with my family, I'm like, yo, I can't afford to do these kind of things because like the reality sets in, those checks eventually stop coming. You go back to a regular job, and it's just that to me, the culture shock was when I went to the supermarket. I'm like, I just spent $500. I didn't even buy meat.
Terrible.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, and you know, what the craziest part is, I hated being on active duty, and now I can't wait to get back on active duty to make the money again. So that's the toxic relationship.
Yeah.
That's the vicious cycle. Like, yo, there's nothing like that paycheck.
You're right though, and it is fucking like food is expensive because you know we didn't have to pay for food out there unless you
Or
wanted
water.
to.
Yeah.
But like, even if I ordered Uber Eats yesterday, I ordered like one fucking meal and the total came up to $70. So
Yeah.
what the fuck?
You can't leave the house for less than 100.
You know, it's
Even
ghetto
when
out
you're
here.
in the house,
That's
and you-
without gas.
You're in the house. You're like, oh shit, this is due. I tell my wife, we just spent $1,000. We didn't leave the house.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that American Express. That that's when I was like, maybe I'm spending too much money on food.
It hurts.
I tried cooking. I tried everything to save money.
Since I've been home, I ate out twice. Both times were at McDonald's. It was only me. When I was coming home from work, I cook every day and I bring meals to work, make the kids meals, make my wife's meals. It's just cheaper.
It's definitely way cheaper.
Oh yeah.
All my struggles are personality struggles. Obviously, the money sucks. Cost of living sucks. But I'm far too intense. I had such, and not going back to work probably doesn't help. I'm still on leave until December 8th,
I need to be like you.
which is good. And I mean, I'm starting school soon. I'm trying to, do things to channel this intensity. But yeah, I'm like extra hard on people for no reason in my life. And I apologize. I'm sorry, family. But yeah, I'm like extra hard. Like the same person I was, which I mean, got the job done for better or worse, relentless with tasks and goals. I'm like that, except with nonsense. Nonsense. Like,
You didn't clean the Roomba.
like I bought a vacuum the other day, right? I had like this little bullshit like dustbuster vacuum, so I wanted to go out and buy a legit vacuum. It was like 4 stores. I'm reading the back of boxes. I'm looking online. Text messaging my wife. Hey, what about this feature? What about that feature? Like just, it was a vacuum.
Dude,
I don't even have carpet, yo. It's literally like
dude, I do. My wife
Way too
laughs at me
intense.
because everything that I have to do, I got to research it. I got to read reviews, watch videos. I bought a mattress the other day. She was laughing at me. The kids are asleep. We're in the living room. She's like, "You want to watch something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got something ready to go." It was a review on a mattress. She's like, bro, go to sleep. I said, no, you got to see. It's got pocketed coils and layers.
Oh man.
I don't know. It's that if you're not in the military, you don't get it. Like, there's a spec for everything. There's a TM.
A buddy of mine asked me a question the other day. A little backstory. I trimmed the hedges behind my house, right? Because nobody touched it the whole time I was gone. So I trimmed the hedges. Now I got a bunch of branches and leaves and stuff like that. Like, how do I get rid of that? I got a little convertible. I can't just throw it in my car and take it to the dump. So I called my buddy who owns a tree company at like 8:15 in the morning on a weekday. Business hours if you own a tree company. Do you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So he asks me, he tells me how to get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, hey, man, like, how you been since you've been back? I was like, I'm fine. Fluffed it off a little bit. He's like, have you gotten back yet? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, got back, went on vacation. He goes, no. Have you gotten back yet? I was like, no, absolutely not. He's like, I could tell. I was like, well, why? He goes, well, I mean, it's a little crazy you called me at 8:15 in the morning for trees. And I'm like, that's bullshit because you own a tree company. Like, I'm a customer now. Like, I wanted to call you last night at 10 o'clock on a Sunday, but that would have been wrong. But, yeah. I'm hurt, man.
How's it been for you? You were with us. You were there.
I mean, the adjustment, it's all right. I feel like just the expenses is a pain in the ass, but I also feel like I haven't given myself the proper time to like recalibrate. Like I only used fucking 14 days of leave.
Trip.
For the fucking job. Yeah. So I didn't go on vacation or anything. Like as soon as I got home, it was just like getting my life in order. Buying clothes because, I didn't have any. And then I went to work. So I haven't really reintegrated, I guess.
Yeah, we just got out of prison and now we have to reassimilate.
Yeah, I'm still in prison. The pay is just a little less, So I do got a question though, because I mean, you deployed. Did you have any issues transitioning?
I think for me, there was two issues I had. One, I came back and I think while I was going, I completely disconnected. So when I came back, everything was just kind of like different than I remember leaving it. So like an example, the movie theaters at Green Acres,
Yeah.
they got rid of that when I was deployed. So that was like a huge change when I came back. But it was just like little stuff like that where things that you're used to are just like no longer there. So that was one thing. The other thing was that you get used to being around the same people, and then all of a sudden you're not around them anymore. And it was weird getting used to that feeling of like, oh, hey, I see this, I want to tell this person. Obviously I could text you or whatever, but I'm so used to like, hey, I'm just gonna go over to them and show them or whatever the case may be, but didn't really have that anymore.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, I feel like you have easy access to everyone.
Yes.
When you're over there, and that's not really a thing anymore.
Yeah, it was like when I was in Buring, everything that I needed for like day-to-day life was like 5 minutes away. So it's like the gym was 5 minutes, the DFAC was 5 minutes, the office was 5 minutes. Everybody lived around me. So you had everything right there. And then when you come back, it's like, oh, everybody's living their own life now. And you don't really have that anymore. Like easy access to everything.
I can see that. Another thing too, if you guys do decide to deploy, you can stay in the military, go finance.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
I've heard.
That's the way to go. But what's the maintenance world like to you guys?
Like, you join the military, don't go into maintenance. That's all I could say to you.
Don't join the military.
Yeah, I would co-sign that before don't join the military, but if you have to, go maintenance.
You said go maintenance?
You're intense. You're
I enjoy
intense.
it. I enjoy. It's free. It's not like you say go finance because the workload is not a physical workload. You're in an office setting more often than not. To that individual, it's still high intensity and important because, I mean, if I go and get in a truck at peacetime, at least, if I go and get in a truck and it doesn't work, I'm not heartbroken. Now, if I'm not getting paid and somebody's, you know what I'm saying? My family is now struggling because you didn't do your job in finance. I mean, I'm running down on you. Nobody's really running down on the mechanic.
So
At peacetime, at least. Shit needs to work. It needs to work when it needs to work.
here's my thought on that. In a perfect world, you would do maintenance. You'd have all the tools necessary to do your job. You'd have no. Listen, I understand we're overseas and things are scarce, but you have deadlines that you need to meet, and then you have non-existent equipment. You have pneumatic tools that should work, but they do work, but we don't have the means to make them work because the building that we're in doesn't have an air compressor, or all of the generators that we have to use the electric tools that we have they don't have the amperage to run the tools. So like literally everything is done by hand, there's nothing wrong with that. But, and it does make you a better mechanic to know how to do everything by hand, but the amount of work that you need to get done versus what you can actually get done and what the higher ups need you to get done and want you to get done so that paperwork looks good to them, it doesn't match, So if you're in a unit that's all about maintenance, sure, go maintenance. But if you're in a sustainment brigade and your main concern is not maintenance until you go on a deployment and they're like, hey, this is a deployment all about maintenance. Don't go maintenance. That's what I'll say about that.
I mean, I wasn't going to get that specific. I think it's, I like the job maintenance no matter where it is because it's a blend of everything. If you're blessed or you're in a shop or something like that and you have, funding for pneumatic tools and top of the line equipment, you can learn it that way. Or in a different, maybe more difficult environment and you got to do things analog. You got to use your brain, no computer. You're listening to sounds and the feel of things would make you better with or without the technology. You're managing different people in an environment. The military is supposed to be structured. There's very little structure in a motor pool.
Yeah.
Mechanics are people. They're not soldiers.
Yeah, and there's mechanic lingo too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like conversations in the maintenance world is completely different than the regular world. I'll tell you that. But I look at maintenance as like, you ever try to buy a pair of scissors?
Buy scissors?
Yeah. Like you ever bought scissors at a store and it's in the plastic?
Sure.
And the instructions say to open it, you need scissors?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I look at maintenance.
Okay.
But I do also see what you're saying. I think it's rewarding. Like, so I spent most of my career avoiding maintenance. I'm not a good mechanic. I will tell anybody that. I can change a tire. That's about as far as I can go. And I've spent most of my career in operations. So when the deployment happened, I got pushed into the maintenance position unexpectedly. So I had to learn on the job. But I remember there was times where like I was working with you. What I like about maintenance is nobody comes to the motor pool because it's far. And the simplicity behind there's a vehicle, there's a problem, and you're fixing it. So like it's just you and the equipment. Problem is fixed. That's it. I mean, of course, until something else breaks down. But I like the simplicity behind just solving a problem every day. Like the vehicles to me seem like riddles. And you're just trying to figure out what the problem is. Is there any more problems? So that's one part that I like about maintenance. But overall, I think maintenance is not for the faint of heart. I think 80% of the people in maintenance shouldn't be in maintenance. Like
personality-wise or
No, skill-wise, probably.
skill? I mean,
No,
see,
personality-wise.
skills can be learned. It takes. I
have
feel
to
like
wanna
anybody.
learn. You got to want to learn.
Anybody can learn how to be a mechanic, but to coexist with mechanics, you can't learn.
I think we had a really good group of people while we were there, and we were fortunate that there was not one person in that motor pool. Even personalities aside, everybody worked. Like I mean, there's one guy who
Not everybody worked.
Ain't that the truth?
I'm here to not everybody work.
no, but you know what I'm saying. Like we were fortunate that, for the most part, we knew everybody that we were going to work with. We had a relationship built on years of being in the same unit together, And even the guys that came for the deployment, we bonded relatively quickly, and they brought skills. They were techs. They knew the world that we were going into. So they brought things to the table that kind of helped us get through that deployment as far as maintenance is concerned.
Absolutely. One of the things I'm most proud of, and I hope that you could agree with me and you're proud of it too, is that I feel like we were pirates. We held the unit hostage. If you weren't one of us, you were a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? No one came to us and said, I have a huge issue with you guys because this, and this. People came humble.
They were afraid of us.
Because, what are you going to do, send us home? You know what I'm saying?
And
like there were issues and struggles and deadlines and stuff like that, but no one came, very few people came, like, incorrect.
Nobody came crazy.
That's because we always stuck
Nobody
together.
came crazy. And the people that did come crazy, they were really so high that there's nothing you could do about it anyway.
You just had a Roger.
But even the higher ups, when they came there, they were
They
like
came crazy,
super
and then they came back
respectful
2
to us.
days later.
Yeah,
With,
and Yeah.
sorry about that, guys.
So
even like when we all met up the other day, and we're still like a gaggle of fucking pirates in upstate New York, and everyone's like, there they are, they're together again.
Yeah, I like it. You can always tell when mechanics are around.
So it's funny that you say that you held it hostage, because the unit hostage, because when I was deployed, it was kind of similar in the sense that I wouldn't say we held it hostage, but our commander did not know what we did. So all he could really do was like refer to us when it came time to tell whoever whatever. So like, a colonel comes in and he's like, hey, I need this or whatever. We're like, we can't do it. He's like, oh, let me talk to your commander. The commander will pull us into his office, be like, hey, what do I tell this guy? We tell him, hey, this is the policy, whatever the case may be. He goes right back out, tell him exactly what we said. So I can really relate to the, people kind of learn that they just got to come correct at some point, because he didn't know what he was doing. So.
See, everybody knew what we did because we told everybody what we did. And then right after we told them what we did, we told them that they didn't do nothing.
And also, there was the other thing about it
You
was...
don't work. Us, never them.
The other thing about it was a lot of us had dual roles. So not only were we maintenance, we did other things that impacted the unit greatly. So they needed us in other areas besides the motor pool. So when we would go visit, like me and Mo specifically me and Steven. Specifically, we were going to these meetings, I was in E4 and then I got E5. He was in E5 already. We're the lowest ranking people in the room, and people are referring to us for our subject matter expertise in specific areas. And we're just like, there's no rank. It's just like, listen, this is what needs to get done, and this is how it has to get done. And they're like, okay. And our commander, for the most part, I don't know if you guys agree, he was on our side. Like he held us down. Like in a sustainment brigade, there's so many other moving parts that the commander is kind of like, he's like a private, because there's higher ups way above him. So no matter how he tried to hold us down, there were still people that were going to come in and be like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but this is what's going to happen. So he did what he could when he could. And even our XO, really, our executive officer, the private of the officers who was in charge of us, he did his part for us, And anyone else, they didn't come bother us because they didn't want that smoke.
You know what I do love about maintenance though is this is the only maintenance section I've been a part of. I'm hoping that this is a maintenance thing, but I know when we were out there, we respected work ethic over everything. So it didn't matter how much of a likable person you are. If your work ethic sucked, we didn't fuck with you.
Absolutely.
And we would give you hell. And that's one of the things that I appreciated about the maintenance section.
Yeah.
Everybody worked. And it's huge. And it goes back to it's one of the very few environments where you could take something that doesn't work. Taking a spreadsheet that doesn't convey information and making it convey information is not an impressive task. But taking something physical that doesn't turn on and it turns on. And not only does it turn on, you could put soldiers in it and drive them through a hostile area and it works and they're safe. That's, at the end of it, that's most important. And then when you can do it with your buddies, smoking cigarettes and getting dirty and, you know, having
Talking
these
shit.
conversations that you couldn't have in an office.
You know what the other thing is? I think people left us alone because they knew we controlled if their brakes worked or not.
That's true.
Dude got a point there.
Yeah, I've never thought about that.
It's like, oh, you sure you want to drive today?
I'm just kidding.
But it was a pretty dope experience. I have a newfound respect for maintenance. You know, actually being part of it, because I think, you know, in the military we all look at other sections like they don't work, they don't do this. But not only just being in maintenance, I learned that, but like that environment, I learned that every role is important, and there's people who don't fucking work.
Yeah.
But there are people who fucking work. And if you're in HAC, you definitely fucking work. But like, I just have a newfound respect for not only maintenance, but other sections like fucking supply.
Yo, dude. They work. I think they're one of the only sections that works as hard, if not harder.
And people sleep on them because they're in the house, but they're getting it like the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
Tragic.
And you know what's crazy? You never hear them complain.
No,
Like-
they complain just.
Just not to us.
To themselves. That's one of the downsides to the group. And I don't want to call it a maintenance thing. That was downsides to the group and the culture that we built, was that we complain to everybody about everything. Up, down, sideways. I don't know if that's a maintenance culture. I think that might have just been a us culture.
must have been
And I was a huge culprit of that. I wild out on people that I definitely shouldn't have wild out on.
Yeah, but
I think it was a us thing, but I mean, given the circumstances,
Yeah,
Like,
but-
do you remember how we got there? Like day one, you know, we're like, all right, we're about to get our fucking bunk, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. No.
It's like, nah, vehicles are here. You got to go.
Yeah, we landed 4 p.m. and then 5 a.m. we was outside.
you know what is the hardest part about that whole experience was, you know, there were days where the entire brigade is off and we're getting up like idiots to crack a fucking dawn, going to the motor pool, working our asses off, and coming back to the barracks and you just see people in their bunks, relaxing, living their best lives. You're like, you didn't work today? They're like, nah, it's a holiday. Like, what are you talking about? It's a holiday.
Yeah, I tell you what though, if you really think about it, no one said boo to us. We had like no conflict, no one
No one got in
pressed
trouble.
Any of us, none of us got in trouble. The rest of them were being stupid.
I also think though the maintenance section worked too hard to get in trouble. He's just always busy.
And they did take care of us at the end of that tour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, basically the last month, for the most part, out of sight, out of mind, disappear, you know? And we appreciated that because it got really hot and even they had the formation at one point and they were like, they made us stand outside for about 2 hours waiting for the colonel to show up. And they're like, you guys, you feel how you feel right now? You know, this is 2 hours. The maintenance crew, they were coining people for their recognition. And they're like, this is what maintenance does every day, this entire deployment. So I don't want to hear one of you complain. So that for me, I don't know about for you guys, but that really, you know, I'm not going to say it made it better, but it made me feel very good about the job that I did over there because at least somebody appreciated it enough to make it known to the entire unit that we busted our asses.
See, that's kind of why I'm excited to go back to work. Not excited enough
To deploy again?
no, not excited enough to go back to work like tomorrow, but I'm excited to go back to work because, like in the jail, it's again that shared suffering. It either makes you, you know, miserable and changes as talked on our previous podcast. It changes you, or that shared suffering, and you just become pirates. It's the same inappropriate jokes that would not fly on the outside, that fly on the inside, the having each other's back, that us versus them mentality, that it's the same environment. And that's what I'm excited for.
I got a question for you.
So
As a CO, who's the pain suffering with? Is it other COs or the inmates?
it's a unique environment because I mean we're all locked in there. I get to go home. They're in there 24 hours a day. People who work overtime are in there for 16. You're the same locked in. You're the same locked in. You're the same no cell phone. It's both. We're cool inmates. We're cool people. You're kind of suffering the same. Obviously, you know, you're paying for your sins or alleged sins. You know, I sold my soul for a job, but it's a funny job because I think anybody can do it. I don't think anybody can do it for long, but I think anybody can do it. So I like it.
I respect you because I know for a fact I couldn't do that job. I mean,
Say that.
you know, there's something about that confined space, the not having your phone, the feeling of, you know, yeah, you're getting a paycheck, but you're still stuck in that building, and maybe it's something I have to try to as a CO, not as an inmate, even though I look like I just got out, but no, I don't know if I could take somebody throwing urine and feces at me and not being able to do anything about it. I don't know, as a man, if I can take that. And I know you're still getting paid. Like, that's your job. Like, you're basically, you could look at it as like you're babysitting really bad children that could kill you. But I don't know if I could do it.
I think it's at least where I work, it's far more civilized than what you would imagine it is. The worst people with the worst crimes or accused of the worst crimes, and people who've been in and out of the system for longer tend to be the nicer people than young kids who would try to make a name for themselves in the criminal underworld.
I could see that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's respect. And at the end of the day, we're all men. And a dude the size of Zammit ask me if he needs a shower. If he can take a shower. Now, people who shouldn't have the job, or people who would get off on being like, no, shut up. It's a stupid move because Zammit's 300-something pounds. And you run the risk. But it does nothing for me to deny him something he's owed. Now, if there's a scheduling conflict or something like that, convey it to the person.
Yeah.
But just to be like, no, for funsies.
Yeah, like treat them like an adult and a human
This is
being.
what I'm saying. Like, we're all people and we're all stuck in there. And at the end of the day, if you and your boys decide today's my day, there's 50 of you and one of me.
You know, that's exactly what went through my mind as soon as you said that.
Bro.
Because, like, you're in there, you say no just for the hell of it. Like, they got nothing but time.
That's it.
Think of ways to fuck your day up every day.
We're all men. That's how I look at it. And men, women, we're all professionals. You know, you chose your life. You made a mistake, whatever the case is. I chose my life. Whether it was a mistake or not choosing my profession, it is what it is. But we're all in the same place at the same time. Why not treat each other accordingly?
I got a question for you. Do you think it's harder for female COs than it is for male COs to make it full, you know, 20 or 25, whatever you have to do to hit retirement without getting into any kind of trouble if they work in a male prison?
I think it's different for everybody. Male inmates will be a little more verbally persuasive to try to manipulate female officers, to where if they tried to manipulate me, they would be more physically aggressive and imposing. Mm-hmm. To where female inmates would try to manipulate men differently a male officer than a female officer. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
It's just it's take outside and move it into a confined space. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? If I'm running down on you, I'm gonna try to make myself bigger and flex on you. But if I wanted something from a female, I'm gonna get smaller and sweeter and nicer and quieter to get what I want.
That makes sense.
So I mean, it's difficult. Can I do 20 years in a women's prison? I'm sure like not to, but I wouldn't have to worry about getting my ass beat or having to defend myself or,
Yeah.
something like that. It's a different game.
I couldn't be a CO. I think I smile too much for prison or jail,
Yeah, handsome man.
and like to be in there is depressing.
No, it is. It's
So I couldn't personally do it. I like, as much as I wear all black and stuff, I like bright areas. I like.
it's so funny sometimes though, because like you get to know people and stuff like that. Like it's funny. Some of the craziest stories are funny.
Didn't you? I don't think I released that episode, but didn't you say you met DMX in prison?
Yeah, I had DMX. Rest in peace, Earl Simmons. Yeah, the night he got arrested for child support and like at a show, like he showed up to perform, and they nabbed him.
Damn.
And it was the same night as the BET Awards, so he was in jail watching the BET Awards, which I thought was funny. But he was, I mean, nice enough guy, and they all know him up there. I mean, that's Yonkers is not too far from where we're at. So he had friends, people respected him and stuff like that. He was a nice guy, super polite to everybody, like in the jail on the way in. It's just for me personally, what made him so successful and good at his craft was his voice and his volume and his delivery. But his voice is always like that. It wasn't a performing act. That was his voice. So like, yo, let me get some toilet paper at volume 100 in DMX voice got super fucking annoying, super quick.
Can I get my bread and water?
Yo, for real. Like super annoying. And then when he would talk to other people, so like it was real cool. I was like, oh shit, man, DMX. I gotta be professional and stuff like that. Don't want to play favorites or anything like that. But after like 20 minutes, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
That's the things that people don't think about. And I think you mentioned that you met like a couple celebrities, right?
Yeah, in my youth, I worked in the city a lot when I was in my 20s, and there are I was in Chinatown and in Soho all the time, and they were just they're always around. So I worked at a coffee spot, and what's his name? Norman Reedus would come in. He lived across the street. He would come in, get burritos, and the first time I met him, I was like, you look like the guy from Boondock Saints. He's like, I am the guy from Boondock Saints, and he did the voice from the movie. I don't know if you guys ever. It's a deep cut. It's an old movie.
I know Boondock Saints.
Yeah, so like this is like before Walking Dead and all that stuff, but I love that movie. And he was super humble, super nice. He introduced me to his mom one time because I saw him. I was walking out of work and I saw him. He was with his mom by his apartment, and I almost hit Mike Myers with my bicycle, delivering food. And I stopped. I'm like, holy shit, can I take a picture with you? And like, he took a picture with me, and I got a delivery bag on my fucking neck. And it's just because I grew up watching Austin Powers, and I bumped into like it's a lot of people. Like I tell my daughter all the time, she's like, kids today are so into like meeting famous people. I'm like, just go to the city and hang around the city. You'll see that it's not like an unattainable goal.
Fame is different now, though.
Yeah, fame now. You have YouTubers and influencers. Like when I used to meet people, that was because I respected them. I wanted to be in that field when I was a kid. I wanted to be a comedian and I wanted to be an actor. And they were like in the craft. They actually had talent. Now it's anyone can be famous if you have enough views. So I think it's different now versus like someone mentioned to me the other day. There's a new movie coming out with like Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. It's a Martin Scorsese film. Yeah. you get excited to see that movie because it doesn't matter if you've seen one review. If Martin Scorsese, you think of it's going to be a good movie, a quality movie, or like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Whereas I can't remember the last time I've watched a comedy sketch show that made me laugh out loud, or seen a movie that I'm like, wow, that was a good movie. I have to see it. There's a few things out there that are guaranteed to make me laugh. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like a sketch comedy show. It's funny. It's because it's not PC or anything like that. It's just they fucking make fun of it. It's like South Park. It's just everything is open season, and meeting people when I was younger kind of gave me an idea of like what I wanted to do. But I also don't think that I would want that fame where people are constantly coming up to me and asking me for pictures. Like when I was younger, I didn't understand it, but now I do understand it. It's a job. To them, it's a job. So like if I'm with my kids and you come over to me and you're like, hey, I'm not going to take time away from my kids to take a picture with you. Like I'm with my kids, fuck off. Like leave me the hell alone. When I was younger, I would just want that picture for the clout to put it on Instagram, But now if I see a famous person, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm the most important thing in my kids' life. Like I'm famous to my kids. That's all that matters to me. It's not about views or anything like that. I don't give a shit about that anymore.
You used to care about views?
Oh, absolutely. Views, likes, and subscribes, baby.
You did used to need a talent or a skill to be famous. I feel like now, if you could afford to drop a fucking Lamborghini off of a water tower, you could be famous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just all entertainment now. Like if it's entertainment or drama, you'll blow up.
You know who took advantage of that wholeheartedly? The Kardashians. That look at me. They don't have talent. Like, fuck them. They don't have talent.
I seen the first video.
Pretty
Ray J?
skillful to me. Maybe she had talent in that field, but I'm just saying, like, Jenner, whatever her name is, Kris Jenner, you know what their greatest
She has
talent is? You know what their greatest talent is? Black guys.
Damn.
Why'd you point at him?
Oh, you guys.
I think Kris Jenner had talent.
I don't even know what she did.
The marketing. She turned.
Oh, no. She's brilliant. Yeah, but like, I guess you could call that talent. Yeah, I'm going to make my daughters into whores and push them on to famous celebrities to make them. They're smart. I'll give them that. They're definitely smart. And that brand is synonymous with wealth. So I agree with you. She has talent. I don't know if I'd do that for my kids. I don't know if I'd want my kids to be their claim to fame to be, that, but she's rich, she's got 8 houses. I have no house. So it's something to be said.
I was going to say that sparks the question. Like, is there a period in time where wealth outweighs talent? Because like, if you could just, if I was to hand you $50 million right now, and I say, but you can't, well, how can I even explain that? Yeah, if somebody has no talent, but they're rich, does it really matter that they have no talent?
No.
Well, it depends on how they got the money. You know what I'm saying?
And I also think it depends on who you ask as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure for them, it's like, hey, I got the money, you don't, so.
Well, but that's the crazy thing is that, there's people that are born into money and they have the ability. They don't need talent. They have the money to back themselves in any endeavor. So they can appear to be super successful. They didn't acquire that money. Now, if they're making more money on top of the money they were given, they still had that leg up versus someone that came from the bottom and like built their own wealth and then continued to make more money off of that drive and that wealth that they made for themselves. Like, Paris Hilton is a perfect example. She was born into the Hilton name, the hotel. I think, aside from, her past, I think she's a very smart businesswoman because she's constantly popping out, this line that they have their own mattress. I know mattresses because I was looking. They have a mattress line. But I don't think that if she was born without that name, Hilton, I don't think she'd be as successful as she is because of where she came from. I think she would have made money, sure. Definitely she has a business mind. But who's to say that she wasn't surrounded by individuals to put her in that mindset and the highest quality of tutoring and schooling and mentorship? Like someone like me or you who didn't come from money, anything that we attain, it's because we're hungry. He mentioned going back to school. I'm doing the same thing. I'm using my GI Bill to go back to school just because I make money now, but I want more money. And apparently you need a degree. And if the Army's going to pay for it and they're going to pay me to go to school, I'm not quitting my job anytime soon. I'm going to continue working, go to school. That's the hustle. I feel like that's the way to, you not get rich, but to stay above that threshold of drowning. Nobody wants to work 60 hours a week and barely get by just by you pay all your bills and then you've worked all that time and you don't have any money to take your kids out or, to do anything for yourself. You want more, obviously, right?
I find that an interesting conversation because I think making money is a talent in its own. I think that's why there's a lot of people who can't. But it also reminds me of the conversations nobody really knows what other people do. So nobody really knows if this person is talented or not or what. And then when it comes down to money, I think the normal thing, or not the normal thing, but what people want most is to have enough money that when they pass, their family's good. Mm-hmm. Now, if I become a millionaire, I have kids, and I leave them my wealth when I pass, then they'd have to worry about people questioning their talent and stuff like that because everybody wants generational wealth. But it's always a tough thing to talk about. I think building generational wealth is a talent in its own and keeping it because, Kris Jenner, she did all of that to get them rich, but they could squander it. I mean, we can all name a celebrity who was filthy rich and they blew all their money and now they're
hammer.
I think it's the money is key because no one, not that they can't fail, but if you gave me $50 million, I wouldn't have to worry about anything. And I would have a lot of time to find out and take risks and experiment with things that I love and that I might be really, really good at, that I don't have the opportunity to cultivate because I'm on this work till I die
train
mode.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I'm saying?
It's ghetto.
So if, I'll take the money and I might be an amazing painter. But I can't dedicate 20 hours a week right now to painting because I'm trying to build that generational wealth. So my kids will have more time or my grandkids will have more time because they don't have to worry.
See, I think that the key, if you want to build generational wealth in today's society, money helps, but property is really, if you want your kids to be good, buy a piece of property, build that property up. If you have to work 100 hours a week to make sure that when you die, you don't leave them money, you leave them property, because that property is, money can come and go, but property value is only going to continue to grow up. You have a residual income. They have the opportunity to now collect rent or possibly sell that building and make more money by buying more land or more property, whatever the case may be. But they don't have to I think if you give someone $50 million, it's kind of overwhelming and they lose sight of, if I got $50 million right now, I'd go on vacation. I buy a new car, because I'm stupid,
That's a wild summer, boy.
It's,
you give me $50 million. That is a wild
Think
summer.
about it. But
3 months.
If you gave me a building, and even you gave me a building in Red Hook, my mind already is thinking, okay, loft parties, podcast studios, apartments. So my mind's I'm already focusing on a way to turn that into something more and generate income, because it's a physical asset. You can't see $50 million. It's just a number in a computer, you know? No one has. Have you ever seen $1 million? I've never even seen fucking $20,000 in person. So if I had $20,000, my phone said I had $20,000. But I could see a building. I can see, okay, the building needs this work done to it, and that's going to cost me this much. And if I rent out 5 apartments, I'll be able to afford to pay for that renovation that I need to do. And then I can rent out that to some affluent person who wants to come in and, you know, live comfortably in an up and coming area. So I feel like if you want to build generational wealth, you have to really focus on getting property or tangible assets. Money, what happens if, like crypto, for example, what happens if one day the computers stop working?
See, but this is where I get a little angry now, because this is the system right now. Buy a building, set your kids up for generational wealth. That building 5-10 years ago was worth nothing, and people bought it for nothing. And then it's up 300-400% now. You got people like me who make enough money to be successful and live, but I can't, because the $300,000 house, if I buy it today for $300,000, which you can't find, it's an imaginary number, I'm gonna pay
in New York
$600,000 or $700,000 for that $300,000 house. So
It's funny. You mentioned that right now is actually the worst time to buy property.
it's
because
horrible.
of the prices are so high and interest
Here.
rates.
But if you go somewhere else, if you want to buy property out in the desert somewhere, go for it. I mean, it's still going to be worth money. They're still going to develop.
The thing is, you could just buy a plot of land. You don't have to actually buy a building. You can just buy acreage, and then someone else will want to build on that acreage. You then that opens up the doors. I agree with you 100% that buying a building is crazy. But, you know, I have a friend of mine who he explained to me what he did. They invested in buildings, him and his family. Everybody put money in. And in the beginning, 2-3% for whatever, like, let's say he put 20 grand down and the building was $1 million. So he's getting 2 or 3% of that profit, right? Every time it came down to getting the dividends, he said, keep my money in, reinvest it. At the end of, let's say, 5-6 years, now he kept working a regular job. It's like you forget about that money exists.
Yeah.
He bought a $2 million house.
When did they start?
10 years ago.
Okay. Gas was
Sure.
under $2
Sure.
10 years ago. I paid $4.60 yesterday.
What kind of gas do you put in your car?
Premium.
What did you choose to buy a car that requires premium gas?
Yes.
So I don't want to hear that.
I mean, my $60.
I paid $40.
My
to
$60
fill up
was worth $200 10 years ago.
Go ahead.
So I don't want to cut you guys off, but we are reaching the time limit of the show. But you guys got to come back on for another show.
Sure.
Ready? Always.
But I will ask you guys this. Actually, let me ask you guys the ending question. I'll start with you. If you could pick one moment or experience in your life, one lesson learned in life from that moment or experience that you can without a doubt say, if it didn't happen, you probably wouldn't be where you are today, what would it be?
When I met my wife. The easiest question you could ask me.
Okay.
Set up, bro. Set up. Now I got to sit here knowing my wife is going to see this.
We planned this.
Yeah, you got to double
You're
down.
a scumbag.
All right, so for you, your wife, and what else then?
Exactly. When I met my wife, and that's tough, man. That's tough on the spot, to be honest with you. I mean, you want to say it's the military, you want to say it's the job. I mean, I dropped out of high school 6 months before I was supposed to graduate and got my GED and left my parents' house and like never went back. Not because I don't love my parents. I talk to my parents all the time. But if I didn't take risks and fail and sleep on people's couches and go back and forth and stuff like that, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
I respect that.
So for better or worse, it took me a long time to become a normal, productive member of society. Because of that, I'm behind the eight ball. GED, no college, left, no, safety net, stuff like that. That's what did it.
I
about
respect that.
And my wife.
I love his wife. She's a good woman.
For me, I feel like this question, I know I asked you guys on the spot, but I think for me, it would be, fuck, that is a tough question on the
Told you,
spot.
bro. I mean, it's your question.
Damn, karma. Shit. Asked the question, didn't even think about it myself.
Way to go. That's authentic.
I'd name one time. It's so I met this dude in high school. We were like mad cool. We were always around each other. And years go by, we're still cool. We both live near each other. He used to hang out with us, and he was an avid smoker. And this was before I was joining the military. I'm like, yo, I'm joining the military,
Marijuana.
Yeah. And, I tried to encourage other people to join too. He was not about that life. But he went to Jamaica. I'm not saying that I've ever smoked weed. Just throw that out there. But he went to Jamaica and he smoked in Jamaica. Now, this guy is like, you guys have the same personality. He's always like uppity. He's funny, life of the party. But he went to Jamaica and he smoked over there. And he came back and he was just like real dark and serious. And I remember one day he told me like, yo, bro, sorry to get real dark with the story, but he was like, bro, I think they laced me.
That was PCP.
I don't know what it was, but pretty much he was a completely different person.
That's fucked up.
So much so that he ended up getting arrested for a sexual assault.
Jeez.
And like time goes by. So that right there let me know that I need to change my life. I need to start making better decisions and things of that nature. And then, I started changing my life. I actually joined the military after that. And I remember a soldier in the 145. We were out just drinking, having a good time. And she showed me a picture of this guy who was in a psych ward. And it was him.
Holy shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And yeah. So long story short, the day that he told me that he got laced was like, maybe I should start making better decisions. So
That's a blessing, bro. You are one of the few people who learned from someone else's mistake, not even your own.
yeah, that's how I live my life now.
Yeah.
I learn from other people.
Most of us mere mortals have to make our own mistakes to learn from them.
But do you have any closing remarks? Or actually, what about you? I
I'd
know
have
you
to
said on
say,
the episode.
huh?
No, I said I know you said on the episode before, but
Might as well, right? It'd be weird if I didn't. For me, I would say I like to give a different answer every time. I don't know if I gave this one already. I'm sure I did though. But it would be joining the military and then leaving the military for me.
you did say that. Well, guys, that's the end of the show. Happy 80-20. Happy Levicity. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Don't do drugs. Speak to you all soon.